Hey guys, Shane with Accessor Performance. I teased a comparison between my two MLs, my Dean from Hell and my Far Beyond Driven, one being a Korean made almost 20 years ago, and the other most recently in China. Both are Deans, both are Dimebag signature models, both have the Dimebag pickup and the bridge. Not positive if they have the same in the neck pickup. I'll have that information before we finish this video, though, when we go deeper into it. But today, I plan to do a couple of things. One of them being the Demon from Hell. The springs on that Floyd Rose are unbelievably noisy. You can just hear them as soon as you use the trim bar. It just sounds like you're jumping on an old bed. It's freaking horrible. Yeah, you can't hear us laying on its back like that, but yeah, trust me, it's bad. So we're gonna put in some noiseless springs and take some measurements. Pretty sure the Korean, that one has a brass block in the bridge already. I think that's either it's been installed or I think it comes with that. Most of them I've seen have the same. It's a brass color instead of aluminum. And then because I want to put a brass block in the Demon from Hell, I may just take the one from this one and get a big block to put into this one. Alright, so the first thing you notice when you start to compare these two guitars is there is a pretty hefty weight difference between the two of them. There's going to be quite a few reasons for that. The first one is very apparent. The Dime from Hell that's made in China is 1.5 inches thick, and the one made in Korea is 1 5/8. And that may not seem like it's much, but when you're holding the two together, you can definitely tell there's much thicker materials used. Pretty much got the back half of the guitars tore apart. As you can see, the routings are not the same, and that's going to be another reason why the Korean guitar weighs more, because this whole area is cut open on the China one. You can just tell from the size of the cover itself how much area has been removed in wood for absolutely no reason at all, but that's another story. Anyway, so when you look at this, you can see the bridge is aluminum, this one's brass, adding more heft to the weight of the guitar. If you listen to these springs, you can definitely tell they make noise. Those are pretty much deadened. So what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to take the pieces from here and put in here to improve this guitar. Probably going to end up selling the Dean from Hell because I have a Dime Slime USA Dean being built right now. I bought this just to do a comparison between all three, and so once that gets here, we'll do another comparison video. But anyway, the control cavities, they pretty much look the same. They're definitely not up to my standards, but again, these are not USA models. These are China, Korean. They're not the best components. Not sure exactly what they are, but I'll get that figured out when we start digging deeper into these. And so this bridge the block is 32 millimeters, measures out right at 1 1/4. Okay, and they're both exactly the same. So I'm going to order me a big block. It's a little bit thicker. Brass block, it's heavier, just adds more mass, more sustain. I think I'm going to even swap out and get me a brass claw and see what that makes a difference on this or not. I'm going to move those parts over to here and see how that improves. I'm probably going to go ahead and get another set of noiseless springs though, because after playing around with this one, you can still kind of hear them as well. Just not when you're playing the guitar, which is the main thing. It's definitely hard to tell, but the Korean one is definitely, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch bigger. And that's probably why the mass is more, and it will dampen the noise better. So here are the springs that I ordered from Sweetwater. They are super close to me. I can get stuff basically the next day or the following day, depending on what time it's ordered. and they are super helpful. For instance, on this, they have different color springs, and depending on the tuning and the scale length of your guitar and the tension of the strings, the size that you use, that is going to vary. They have a chart. I did not know how to do that calculation. I emailed Nolan. He emailed me back, get the red ones. Gotta love Sweetwater. Alright, disassembling the Floyd Rose system. Basically going to start by releasing the slack from the strings, and then taking the strings and the springs from the bridge, and then the bridge will be completely released. Alright, so we've got the guitars completely tore down, so let's take a closer look. There's no marking on the neck pickup itself except for the F. Not sure what that is exactly. Curiously enough, the other guitar has an F as well, but it looks completely different. It's got a gold plate. The bobbins are zebra, but they're reversed. It looks completely different. But anyway, this is the neck pickup routing, the bridge pickup routing. Okay, with this bridge you can see there's a metal bracket that screws into it. That is going to, if you need to change the mounts, you will have to do some work to make that work. You actually have to punch out the old bridge posts and then drill bigger holes, but not oversized, because you have to be able to press these new bushings back into this bracket or they'll just fall out of the guitar. So you gotta be careful with that. And then this guitar, here you can see the routings here. Again, this pickup says F on it as well. Here you can see they have painted over the actual pocket itself for the pickups. And then here's that. You can see these bushings are just pressed into the wood on the guitar. And then there are two different bridges. You've got the Floyd Rose Special, and then the licensed by Floyd that is in the Korean. There's very little differences. They're pretty subtle, but they are there. Right, here you can see the bridge is completely taken apart. Next thing we're going to do is just unscrew these 3 screws, and then the plate will come off. So here's the finished product. We got the brass claw, the big block, the silent springs. As you can see, it clears. We got the brass fine tuners, which I'll be very happy when they age and look more like that. But you know, give it some time. It'll be looking pretty sharp. This one, we've switched over the parts from the Korean to the China, and it so much better. Just better quality parts used on the Korean guitar. Back where we started, everything's back together. The only thing we didn't mention in this comparison was the neck shape. The Korean Far Beyond Driven guitar, it has a normal neck. I equate it very much like a 60s Les Paul, somewhere between a 60s and a 50s. Very comfortable guitar to play. The Chinese model has Dime's V-shaped neck on it. It's impossible. I tried to take video of it and it's impossible to show, but there's definitely a V-shape. The neck is more of a point, so where when you're resting your thumb on it, it feels like there's almost a ledge. But that's the comparison of these two guitars. I hope you guys enjoyed watching and seeing the differences between the two and the few upgrades we did along the way. And I hope you guys will subscribe and like this video and check us out next time.